Josh Hopkins and Patrick Scott McDermott starring Rust out this week in theaters and video on demand. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
yours.
Patrick, I want to start with you. You played Lucas, the boy at the center of this film. I mean, tell me a little bit about him, his character, and his storyline.
Yeah, Lucas Hollister is a 13-year-old boy who is placed in this position of raising his younger brother after the loss of both of his parents. So it's just him and his younger brother Jacob, and that's like his biggest care in the entire world. That is his entire heart. So when he gets sentenced to hang after an accidental killing, his heart is broken, and he ends up getting broken out of jail by his estranged grandfather, played by Alec Baldwin. And we kind of go on the run, escaping Wyoming to go to Mexico. And there's guys like Josh's character Wood and Travis's character chasing after us, trying to find us.
Yeah, and Josh, as far as U.S. Marshal, Woodhull, tell me a little bit about his character and your role in the film.
U.S. Marshal Woodhelm, a very nuanced, deep character written by Joel Souza, who wrote and directed the film. A kind of a really rough exterior that belies maybe a sensitive soul beneath. He's struggling with, I don't know, an existential crisis of maybe why we are all here and what's the use of it. I think the world's beating him down a bit, and but he's great at his job, super intelligent, and so he tracks these guys, and he's good at his job. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what we're gonna say. Obviously the movie was filmed, 3.5 years ago, and there's been, I'm sure a lot of emotions, for the cast, both, excitement for the film, but also, honoring Halyna's legacy and, her involvement in the film. I mean, tell me a little bit both how you both are feeling kind of this week. I'm sure, there's just the gamut of emotions that you guys are feeling.
Absolutely. I can't believe I didn't believe we'd see this day. I didn't think we'd come back to finish the film, but ultimately Halyna's family wanted it done. I spoke to Matt, her husband, live. I'm on a Zoom because I had to see it from his mouth when they said they want it, and he told me the family wants it finished. They want the world to see Halyna's art, and she was so gifted and wonderful. And so at that point, you feel a responsibility that I've never felt before on a set. And I think everyone did, everyone that came back from that moment on. She had a saying that was, how can we make this better? And that phrase was at the forefront of everything we did from that moment, because it was a deep responsibility to try and honor her, and that's what we tried to do. And I'm excited it's coming out because that's what her family wants, and she was such an incredible cinematographer. And if you go see this film, just check it out. It's so wonderfully filmed, and it's beautiful. She was an incredible artist.
Thank you so much for that, Patrick. I want to talk a little bit about your Chicago roots. We're here in Chicago. Obviously, growing up here in the theater scene, getting to go on a Broadway tour. You're on Stranger Things now on Broadway. Talk a little bit about this film at this point in your career and your Chicago roots.
Yeah, it's exciting, Rudy. It's just surreal and crazy that I've gotten to this point. I mean, I'm so thankful for everybody and all these opportunities. I mean, Chicago is obviously where I started out doing theater at Marriott and Drury Lane, Paramount, and all those people. Definitely, if it weren't for them, I don't think I would have had the confidence to take it beyond Chicago.
And that doesn't mean that you can't, and how's Stranger Things going on Broadway? I know the show just recently opened.
Yeah, Stranger Things is going great. Yeah, we're having a grand old time. Audiences are loving it. The fans are crazy enthusiastic. It's unlike anything you will ever see on a stage. It's like a TV show episode live in front of your eyes.
That is amazing. A couple more questions about Rust. Josh, I'll go ahead and start with you. As far as getting into the costumes, getting into, I mean, obviously, we know you from so many different projects on television and on screen. But talk a little bit about kind of getting into characters and, putting on these costumes and, being part of this film.
Yeah, well, it's a classic American genre. I'd never shot a Western. I couldn't, my father was a huge film guy. He's one of the reasons I fell in love with movies, and he loved Westerns. So I felt his presence a lot, and then to put on the boots and grow the beard and then finally the hat and step on a horse in Wyoming, we got to play cowboy, and I treasured it every day. It was a lot of fun.
And for Patrick, obviously, for you as well too, but you were 3.5 years younger. I mean, it's almost like seeing yourself, as a kid on screen.
Yeah, it is something. I was just looking at a picture with Josh earlier of us from 2 years ago, and the height difference
He was like this.
Yeah, and now I'm a little taller now. My voice is a little lower. Yeah, it is that's how growing up works, I guess.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. Rust is in theaters this Friday and also a video on demand.
Thanks, Rudy.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.